Good evening. This is Walter Davis in Canyon Lake, California, and I'm going to talk to you about social media facts and figures you need to know in 2014. Now, this was my main focus with the company when I started 9 years ago, and I made a boatload of money doing this. So I'm just sort of coming back around to the recruiting and building the part of my business. But I got a lot to share with you, and I'm going to try to do it real quick within my little 20-minute time frame here. So I'm going to actually turn on my stopwatch so I don't go over. I usually take an hour for this presentation. Okay, so first thing, why should you use social media? It's cost effective. It can help you target your audience. It gives you flexibility. You can obtain immediate feedback. Social media and inbound marketing techniques. Well, the leads, they cost half as much as traditional marketing. And the leads converts to sales at a higher rate. Businesses and marketers love social media. I know I do. 93% of marketers use social media, and 70% of brands have a presence on Google Plus, and 70% of marketers have used Facebook to successfully gain new customers. 34% of marketers have used Twitter to successfully generate leads, and Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus, well, those are the big boys on the market in terms of social media. Least popular are StumbleUpon, Tumblr, and Flickr. Social media facts you need to know. 72% of all internet users are now active on social media. 89% of 18 to 29-year-olds use social media. 72% of 30 to 49-year-olds are on social media. 60% of 50 to 60-year-olds are active on social media. That might surprise you. And 43% of people 65 years and above are active on social media. So is social media only used by young people? No. Older users are the fastest growing demographic on social media, and most people use mobile platforms, which is good news for our business. The paradigm of social media only being used by the younger generation should be put to rest. There's a research dynamic involved with social media where buyers, they can use social media to research products and services. Marketers, you can determine buyers' needs and wants, and you can analyze your competition. Also, you can look at social media trends. So it has a research dynamic for both of us that are marketing as well as being clients. Nobody uses a phone book anymore. Okay? And so, 1 second, let me make an adjustment to my sound. I'm going to turn off my speaker just a second. I've been asked to turn up my volume, which I will do, hopefully without a lot of noise here. Okay, how's that? Is that better? Okay. Which social media networks are most effective for you? Those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself. What are the best available marketing techniques to generate the highest close ratio? Is my sound okay? I want to just check in to make sure. Very good. Okay. What are the best days of the week to post? For example, on Facebook, Sunday is the best day. What are the geographical areas that produce the best leads for your services? And I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit more as we get ahead here. Mobile devices, 71% of users access social media from a mobile device. More people have mobile platforms than have toothbrushes in the world. More people have mobile devices than have computers right now. Mobile devices are usually within 6 feet of users at all times. The average time it takes to check a text message is 90 seconds. The average time it takes to check an email is 4 hours. And only 7% of businesses have mobile apps. So that's good news for us because we're Marketing Touch Pro. Let's take a look at YouTube. Some YouTube facts here. It's the third most visited website. 3 billion views per day. Handles 10% of internet traffic. The average user spends 900 seconds per day. 44% of all users are aged between 12 and 34. Over 829,000 videos are uploaded every day. The average video duration is 2 minutes and 46 seconds. LinkedIn, that's your professional network. 2 members join every second. The United States leads in membership with more than 57 million, and Europe has more than 34 million members. It's the fastest growing demographic are students and recent college graduates. So those are great people to recruit in terms of being resellers and sales agents. And you can do a lot of networking there and get a lot of value out of LinkedIn. Meetup. I've used this very extensively. I have 3 meetup sites. It's great. One of the best ways to establish relationships with clients face-to-face. So you want to find meetings that you can go to all over the place. Meetup is a great place to go. Excellent interface with other social networking sites. You can make hats and t-shirts and event tickets tailored to your event. I just did a show with comics in Orange County last week in which we did that. You can have clients sponsor your website, and you can communicate with thousands of people and target specific groups. Blog Talk Radio. I use this very extensively. I use this to conduct radio interviews worldwide with virtually anybody. It's very effective in terms of low-cost worldwide communications. The chat function facilitates thousands of downloads per month. Some of my shows get 20,000 downloads in 1 month. You can interview anyone virtually anywhere. It's smartphone compatible, and it allows Skype call-in. The heavy hitters being Facebook and Google+. Currently, Facebook is the largest social media platform. That's my alarm to keep me on trackers. Google+ is predicted to surpass Facebook by 2016 as the largest sharing platform. And young people are leaving Facebook in search of other platforms, mainly because their parents are coming aboard Facebook. That's why they're doing that. Google+, there are now over 1 billion Google+ enabled accounts. It has reached 359 million monthly active users. What that means is people have an account, but they don't really use it right now. They don't know the power of it. Google is growing at 33% per year. The 45 to 54-year-old age group increased on Google by 56% since 2012. Google Plus has only been around for less than 3 years and has been a success on many levels. The initial investment Google made into it was $50 million. The top professions you find on Google Plus are students, software engineers, consultants, managers, photographers, teachers, marketing professionals, designers, professionals of all types, and graphic designers. So I do a lot of networking on Google Plus, and I showed a client of mine how I was able to connect with 65 people within 12 minutes on there. The top cities for Google Plus: Bangalore, New York, London, Hyderabad, Los Angeles, Chicago, Moscow, Calcutta, Houston, and San Francisco. So if you're focused on those cities, or if you're in those cities, you have clients in those cities, then Google Plus is going to be one of the best things. Also, it focuses mainly on males. Twitter. Twitter became public in 2013. There are now more than 550 million registered users on Twitter. It's very important. 34% of marketers use Twitter to successfully generate leads. Twitter was the fastest growing network with a 44% growth from 2012 to 2013, and Twitter has more than 215 million monthly active users. The big thing I can tell you about Twitter is to have one account, not many, and also be very careful with who you follow, because the amount of people you can follow on Twitter, there's a ratio in terms of how many followers you have. So if you just start following people for no reason, and perhaps they don't tweet at all, they don't benefit your business, then you're wasting your time. So be very selective with who you follow on Twitter. Follow people that have a lot of followers, in other words. More on Twitter. 1 million new accounts are added every day on Twitter. The top 3 countries are the United States, Brazil, and Japan. One of the more powerful things to know is that social media, visual social media networks are going to be dominant this year. Pinterest has 20 million active monthly users, and Pinterest is very important because Pinterest is how you target affluent females. Their average sales, by the way, are much greater than the other social media networks, which I'm going to tell you in a minute. Instagram has 150 million monthly users. 60% of major brands have a Pinterest account. Make sure you open one up. It's like a big bulletin board where you put a picture up or a video up and say this is great or something of that nature. So this is very effective for marketing. The average sale on Pinterest is $169. The average sale on Facebook is $95. And the average sale on Twitter is $70. So you also want to consider Pinterest automation. So I'm just going to flash this up on the screen real quick. And just keep in mind that this is going to be archived. So you can come back and revisit this. But I just wanted you to get some of these terms in your mind right now. Pin alerts, wise lamp, reachly, tweepy, pinwoot, pinball. These are very effective automated services that you can use to post tweets for you and also interact with Facebook and Pinterest. So please take a look at these things. They sound crazy, but they really do work very well. They work in conjunction with our autoresponders and our COMF5 Office Pro system. PicMonkey, Tweepy, those are all great services that I use. So they all fall right in line with our Office Pro system, which is so wonderful, Touch Pro, which are our mobile platforms, our mobile apps, Mobi Pro, which allows us to have a texting campaign, Presenter Pro, which allows us to send video emails and do so many wonderful things I can't even go into it. That's Office Pro, excuse me, and Presenter Pro, which allows us to do live broadcasts like we're doing right now, and the Our World apps for families. And so we have some very unique services that no other company can offer. So I consider this, there are more than 1.15 billion Facebook users. 1 million web pages are accessed through the login with Facebook feature, which means you don't have to log in with your username and password all the time. You can use the login with Facebook feature to easily access other social media networks. 23% of Facebook users log on at least 5 times a day. 47% of Americans say Facebook is the #1 influencer of their purchases, and 70% of marketers use Facebook to gain new clients. I know I have. So here's a rundown right here. If you look at Facebook up here, monthly active users, 1.15 billion. Google has 359 million. Twitter at 215 million. Instagram, Pinterest, and Reddit come in at the last place here. Reddit is mainly used by college students. Here's a graph which shows you the trends in terms of looking at Facebook. So as you can see right here, from 2004 up to the present, 1.15 billion users. And then you see this graph over here, which shows you how Google Plus is catching up with Facebook. And then you see Twitter, which was the fastest growing network last year. And you see the up and coming Instagram and Pinterest coming here at the bottom of the page there. Let's take a look at some more users in terms of the timeline. In terms of all internet users, you can see here that back in 2005, you had a very low percentage in terms of active users all time on the internet. But now we're jumping into the 2013 stats. You see that's grown quite a bit, substantially. And then when we look at the ages here, very low participation back in 2005 of 50 to 60-year-olds. Now, look at what's happening, 18 to 29-year-olds. Now, let's take a look at what's happening with 18 to 29-year-olds. You've got to be involved with social media. Again, ages 30 to 49, you see a very low rate of participation right here. But now, look at what that's grown to in current figures. Let's take a look at the older people here. 2005. You see a 6% participation, ages 50 to 64. Now, you got 60% of people 50 to 64 involved with social media. It says that people 65 and above was 0% here at 2005. Now, 43% of people 65 years and above are involved with social media. Moving forward, the growth among the top 3 social media networks, 44% with Twitter. It's been the fastest growing social media network. Google Plus, once again, 33% growth. And then Facebook, experiencing some of the slowest growth at 23%, although it's still a very, very major hitter. Now, the time spent on social media networks per hour, the United States leads with 16 minutes per hour, people online that spend on social media, followed by Australia and the United Kingdom. So, again, we see that older users are growing on Twitter. The same thing is happening here. 45 to 54-year-olds are the fastest growing demographic on Google+. And in terms of Facebook, the 45 to 54-year-old age group is also the fastest growing. Mobile, which is very exciting to me because we got that Touch Pro and we have that fabulous Our World app. As you can see, 71% of users access social media through a mobile platform. So essentially, what we need to tell businesses is that if you don't have a mobile app, you're not going to be in business very long. Did you know that the Google Plus button is used more than 5 million times per day? And I use it quite a bit myself to share information. And 47% of Americans have a very favorable opinion in terms of getting clients or whatever with Facebook. Now, 1 million logins, okay, with the Facebook automatic login per day, and 23% of people say they log in at least 5 times a day on Facebook. So as you can see, you definitely need to have a heavy presence in those areas. So what are the major keys? The major keys that you need to understand in terms of utilizing social media is that you have to establish contact in large numbers, follow up, generate video messages that pertain to conversations, meet in person when possible or online. It takes 7 exposures to make a sale generally, and network and know how to network properly. I recommend that you take a look at the 2-Minute Networker, 2minuternetworker.com. Rhonda Scherer, she has some excellent presentations in terms of how to network, how to put your name tag on the right side, how to shake hands and things like that, how to not to spend more than 2 minutes with any particular person you meet at a networking event. Generate video messages that you can post real quick on social media sites. Make an introductory message, a thank you email. It was a great meeting you. I'm looking, thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I look forward to our meeting. Thank you for meeting me. I have not heard from you. That way you can send these messages out to thousands of people real quick, and you don't have to make personal phone calls, and you save time. Instructions for viewing and getting on your station for an interview. You can save yourself a lot of time by putting that information up in a video. And when I do major presentations like the one I did in Los Angeles, I say, everybody, okay, hold up your mobile phone. Okay, now, I want everybody, if you want my presentation, want a copy of it, dial, text me at 95577 and put in the keyword, whatever that is. Now, instantaneously, you've collected within your cell phone and your email client the hundreds of contacts for those people within your presentation. So texting campaigns work very well. I recommend you go to jeffbulis.com. He's got great information in terms of social media networking. And what I want to also tell you is that all of you that are distributors and resellers of COMF5, you're going to be welcome to come to my villa here at Canyon Lake. I charge $1,200 per day for training in terms of social media networking. But for everybody that's a COMF5 reseller, that's going to be free. So you set an appointment with me and we'll make it happen. Here's my email address, wdavis@walterdavisenterprises.com. And I also want to remind you to develop an elevator speech, something you can say in 15 seconds. You only got 15 seconds to capture people's attention when you meet them face to face. And mine is, I hope you obtain a worldwide audience on a shoestring budget. People don't care about your title. They don't care if you're an owner or CEO or anything else. They want to know what you can do for them. Here is my phone number right here. I'm out of time. I know I went over a little bit. Please give me a call if you have any additional questions. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the next speaker. Thank you very much for listening.